In today's video, we'll be discussing the apparition of Mary in Zeitoun, Egypt. Before we get into the video, many Protestants might disagree with Mary being able to appear in an apparition. All I simply ask is to keep an open mind, as this specific apparition of Mary is extremely strong evidence in favor of Christianity. It started on the evening of April 2nd, 1968. Two Muslim bus mechanics were working when they noticed a woman on top of St. Mary's Coptic Church in Zeitoun, Egypt. Allegedly, one of them thought she was a nun who was about to jump off the roof. One of them called for the police, while at the same time, Farouk Muhammad Atwa called out to her not to jump. A crowd of people started to gather around the church, but eventually police got there to break up the crowd. The police at first suggested that it wasn't an actual woman, but it was probably just a reflection of light from the street lamps. But a church custodian suggested that it was possibly the Virgin Mary. On the 9th of April, a week later, the apparition took place again, but only lasting for a couple minutes. These apparitions would then take place continuously for 3 more years. In these 3 years, she would appear 2 to 3 times per week. Of course, as word spread about these apparitions, the crowds of people would grow even greater. Some estimates suggest that over 250,000 people in the same night came to see these apparitions take place. Now, what makes these apparitions interesting is that Mary appeared in a distinctly Muslim country. So many people who reported these apparitions were Muslims, who theologically had no reason to believe Mary would appear in an apparition. Eventually, the Coptic Orthodox Pope, Curlius VI, established a committee of priests and bishops to investigate the apparitions. On May 4th, he confirmed that these sightings were legitimate. The Catholic nuns of the Society of the Sacred Heart of Jesus also witnessed one of these apparitions, and so they sent a report of it to the Vatican, to which the Vatican sent a representative to investigate the situation. The representative as well saw the apparition take place, to which the Vatican left the Coptic Church to conclude whether or not these apparitions happened. Of course, then, the Coptic Church declared the apparitions as valid. Eventually, the police performed their own investigations on the matter. They looked for any electronic device which could have projected the image, or a light source, to which they found none. They as well shut down all power in the area to see if it was simply a reflection of light, but nothing worked. The Director of General Information and Complaints Department in Egypt submitted the following report. The official investigations have been carried out with the result that it has been considered an undeniable fact that the Blessed Virgin Mary has been appearing on the Coptic Orthodox Church at Zeitoun in a clear and bright, luminous body seen by all present in front of the church, whether Christian or Muslim. The Egyptian government also added that they found no fraud in their investigation of the appearances. The president of Egypt at the time was Gamal Abdel Nasser. President Nasser was a Sunni Muslim and as well was slightly influenced by Marxism, which was secular. But even he was reported as having seen one of the apparitions of Mary take place. As we have seen, hundreds of thousands of people witnessed these apparitions take place over a 3-year period. These people who saw Mary said she would appear at first as light and then suddenly as the Virgin Mary. They said she would walk around the roof and move her hands to bless people. There are, however, no reports of her speaking. Many doves were seen as appearing around her and flying at night when these apparitions took place. Luminescent lights were commonly seen as well, which were the same lights as were seen with the appearance of Mary in Fatima, Portugal, in 1917. Now, what are the views many skeptics take? The most common argument is that those who saw these apparitions had a religious background. Therefore, this is an example of mass hysteria or superstition. The problem with this argument is that the majority of people in Egypt are Muslims. Although they accept Mary as the mother of Jesus, their prophet, they would not accept Mary to be able to appear in an apparition, as this goes against Islamic theology. As well, many secular journalists reported the appearances of this taking place. So based on this, the Egyptian people would have had no reason to conclude this was Mary or had any superstition to believe this. Dale Allison, who is a Protestant New Testament scholar, struggles with dealing with the evidence of the Marian apparition in Egypt. This is because many Protestants reject Mary as being able to appear at all in an apparition. This is what Dale Allison said in an interview with scholar Mike Licona.
This figure of light was seen by literally hundreds of thousands of people. The crowds were gigantic. And it was seen by Christians. It was seen by Muslims. It was seen by journalists. It was seen by people who didn't have any religious beliefs. And the crowds thought it was Mary. Now, this really happened. It's not a legend. It's not a myth. Again, we have some photos. Maybe they've been doctored a little bit. I don't know. But we have some photos. We have tons of firsthand testimony. This is a real thing. It's real. And I don't know what to make of it.
The abundant evidence of the apparition is clear, and I would argue that most reasonable people can come to the conclusion that this is clearly a supernatural event, and that Mary truly did appear. Thank you for watching, and God bless.